When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked! Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Hosted by Buster H.R. Johnson. This is a Buster H.R. exclusive. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. You are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Buster Unmasked!
All right, y'all, we're here, we're live, you're watching Buster Unmasked, and we have a fabulous show for you today because my guest is absolutely fabulous, and you're going to find out why here tonight. Before we get there, y'all all know, April 12th, it's a Sunday. Bell time is 2:30 p.m., Trenton, Tennessee, at the TIWF Sportsplex. KAW makes its return. And let's play this teaser so y'all see what it's all about.
Buckle up and hold on tight. What was old will be new again. What was established in 1998 will be re-established in 2026. No substitutes, no cheap imitations. The most feared 3 letters in professional wrestling. KAW, Kick-Ass Wrestling, returns to claim the crown. Let the chaos begin. Outlaws never die.
I'm telling you right now, that's a show you do not want to miss. And that crown we're claiming, that's a crown of thorns. That's what KAW is all about. It's outlaws, it's rebels, and it's guys with chips on their shoulders with something to prove. And I can promise you, you do not want to miss the debut show of Kick-Ass Wrestling. Guys, let me promote my sponsors, because without these guys, we wouldn't even be here doing this. And we're going to get our guests on here and have some fun. For all of your breaking news, sports, and weather in and around the Jackson, Tennessee, and the West Tennessee area, be sure to tune in to 101.5 FM or 103.5 FM. You can also log in to talkinwesttennessee.com. That's TalkNWESTTN.com or newstalk1035.com. For all of your in-home care and consumer direct services in and around the Caruthersville, Missouri area, be sure to call Glowing Hearts at 573-643-2537. Their priority is caring for you and your family. Be sure to check out the Boot Hill Sports Network on YouTube for all of your sports news and live local games in and around the Missouri Boot Hill. That's BOOTHEEL. That's the Boot Hill Sports Network on YouTube. The Boot Hill Sports Network is also the home of American Hostile Championship Wrestling and the Unified Wrestling Alliance every single Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on YouTube. Professional wrestling just the way you like it. All right, y'all, it's about that time. And no, Mike, it's not Fabulous Rocker, but this guy is absolutely fabulous in his own right. Mike Pruitt's already in with us. Danny Ice is in here. Danny, what's up, dude? Glad you're in here with us. Let me just start out like this. I think I probably met this man probably 2020, late 2021, late 2020, early 2021 in New Bern, Tennessee. When I first met him, he was doing some refereeing, but he was also doing some commentary, man. And this young man was just off of the charts, enthusiastic, eager to learn, tons of charisma and tons of personality. I fell in love with this kid pretty much from the minute I saw him. Since then, he's evolved into Divo Dior. So without any further ado, I bring to you the man who brings the glam to professional wrestling around the Memphis and Mid-South area, the one and only Divo. Divo.
Hello, Buster. How are you today?
Divo, man, it is so good to see you. It's been a minute since we've seen each other, man.
It's been a couple years. You've been hitting up the buffet table?
Dude, you know I have, man. I actually sold a few of those Buffet Buster shirts, man. I thank you for that, dude. I appreciate that.
It's okay if you can't tell. With the double D's, I've been hitting up that buffet table too.
Well, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but if you look at the thumbnail, I know you're a little juicy, Divo. I can see that. You know what I mean?
Best meats in the rump.
Oh, there we go. So it's gonna be that kind of show, y'all. Talk about flamboyant. Like I said, he brings the glam to glam in the Memphis wrestling and Mid-South area wrestling business. Man, I like to jump around, Divo. So let's just start here, man. Dude, from the first time I saw you to you evolving into Divo Dior, man, off the charts, man. Like I said, your personality was always off the charts. You had always got tons of charisma, eager to learn, enthusiastic. So let's go all the way back and tell me how you even fell in love with wrestling, man. How did you discover pro wrestling, Divo?
My mom and my dad were fans from the beginning. My dad worked in North Carolina with the arena there in Raleigh and Fuquay Arena. He was a security guard. So a lot of times when they would bring like Raw or any of the shows like that into it, he'd be a security guard. And my mom, of course, would ride along with him and be there. So I was just always around it growing up. Especially with some members of my mom's family were in the business, that she kind of kept me away from that. Because she didn't want me to be in wrestling at all. She loves it as a fan, but she also hates the aspect of it.
Right. I think there's a lot of parents that, especially if they know anything about the wrestling business, I think there's a lot of parents out there that feel that same way, man.
And my dad, when I told him about the first time when I was getting into the business, he was shocked, I guess would be the word to say, because he didn't expect anything to have that impact on me like that. And I've always loved wrestling. That's all I've ever watched. I've always related to it. Wrestling has been here for me in my worst and my best times. When I needed something to fall down on, there was wrestling. Right. And I owe so much to this business because it's given me everything I've ever wanted.
You know, when I first laid eyes on you the first time, that was the first time I recalled ever seeing you. I found out later on after we got to know each other that you actually started out under Burt Prentice. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about how you actually broke into the wrestling business, man. And let's talk about your time with USA Championship Wrestling and Burt Prentice.
Yes, sir. I actually started with Greg Anthony before I went to Burt's.
Okay.
I started out training with Greg, and he had came to me one day with the opportunity. He said, "Do you want to ring announce for us?" And I had been under the wing of Johnny Morton as well. And the one thing Johnny told me, he said, never turn down an opportunity. Any opportunity will advance you. So I said yes. I did the ring announcing and the commentary for Greg Anthony for about 6 months. And the opportunity came when Alex May took me to a Burt Prentice show. And Burt came up to me and goes, "So I heard you were an announcer." And there's me at 17 like, I was like, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, do you want to announce tonight?" And that's how it started in Gladeville, Tennessee, with the first ever USA Championship Wrestling show I did was with Bert there in Gladeville, and it was unlike anything I'd ever done before because they had Jimmy Hart come in for that show and a couple others, and it was a different type of vibe. And from there with Bert, he had me doing ticket sales, posters. Like I did everything because I told Bert, I want to do more than announcing. I want to be a manager. I want to do that. And he said, if you're going to do the job that you want to do, you have to learn every job. You start from the bottom to get to the top. So I've done it all essentially, and that was that knowledge that you just can't get rid of. Because I was in there with Bert backstage. I'll never forget the craziest thing that I ever dealt with. It was Bert Prentice, Jerry Lawler, and Doug Gilbert and I in the back. And Bert was discussing a TV. And he looked at me and goes, "What do you think about that?" And I'm like, me being 17, I was like, "Oh, I don't know shit."
I ain't even got an opinion.
But it was a learning tree. Like I did it, and I forever am grateful for that. I'm forever grateful for Bert for putting me on TV. I'm grateful to his sister Marilyn for teaching me everything from the box office side and beyond. And I'm thankful for all the guys that worked with me and were patient.
Right. And look, everybody's got an opinion on Bert Prentice, but at the end of the day, Bert Prentice is was one of the best wrestling promoters ever been in the business. And I'm not just talking about around our area. I'm talking about in the business period. He was a bridge between that old school carnival style promoter and the modern wrestling promoter. So when you get under Bert's wing, man, especially him taking the time to kind of teach you the business from the ground up, selling tickets, promoting, announcing, whatever, man. I mean, you kind of hit the jackpot when you got that offer to come and work for Bert, man. A lot of people don't get that offer, and a lot of people don't get that opportunity to absorb that kind of knowledge.
And I did, and I agree with you 100%, Buster, because under Bert's umbrella, I had an unlimited knowledge pool. No matter who he was bringing in or the talent that he currently had, there was somewhere in an area that you could learn from and someone that could teach you something new.
Right.
And that opened me up to so many working relationships. Like that is what made me introduced into Leilani Kai, who has helped me so much behind the scene. They helped me with Matt Rivera, who's given me so much. Bam Bam Bundy was a big critique of mine, who he's taught me a few things, and it made me learn because I started at 17. That's what a lot of people don't realize. I started so young, but I'm grateful that I started when I did because I got to see how everything evolved around us.
Right. Let's kind of go in reverse a little bit. Let's take it back to how did you even get in contact with Greg Anthony to even start training? How did that come about, Divo?
I had a friend named Peyton that was with Greg, and right before I got out of foster care, I was put in the care of my friend Brianna's parents, and I had been wanting to wrestle for the longest amount of time, and Peyton was like, "Well, why don't you come to Greg's school? He runs a school here in Dyersburg." And I was like, I thought about it, and I talked to my adoptive mom at the time, and we just decided it would be a good fit, and that's where I started, essentially. We signed the paperwork, and that same week I was in that ring bumping my ass off.
And here's the thing. For in-ring work, and the business period, for in-ring work, though, it's hard to find anybody better around our area than Greg Anthony to learn from the in-ring perspective. And Greg, look, he ain't got the age and experience of Bert, but Greg knows the business. He's been there. He's done that. And he's been promoting his own shows for, I would assume now it's probably 15 years almost in Dyersburg. I think he may still do Ripley every Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. So Pro Wrestling Mid-South's a really good place to kind of start out your career. Talk to me about that very first day that you went from dreaming about being in the wrestling business to actually stepping in the ring and, like you said, start taking bumps. Was it what you thought it was?
Not at all. Not at all. I was very confused, very scared, and very timid. I threw up my first day after taking those bumps. I threw up because they had a trash can, and Greg was like, "This isn't if you throw up; it's for when you throw up."
Right. So what? No, go ahead, Divo. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that first day that I was willing to learn, but I couldn't. To be honest with you, at first I couldn't get bumping down. I was so confused, Buster. I hit my head a couple times, and I finally was like, "I need to knock some sense into this bitch."
You got to be careful, man, when you first start bumping. I never had a problem hitting my head. I guess it was natural instinct for me to tuck my chin, but I would let my heels bang on the mat every time I took a bump. And, man, it don't hurt while it's happening, but 8-10 hours later, because I had to drive all the way from Helena to Nashville to train, and back then it was 55, so it was 8 hours there, 8 hours back. Man, that first day I got home and pulled my shoes off, I thought both of my heels were broke. They were stone bruised real bad. But most guys have issues hitting their head. Most guys have to learn to tuck their chin. So let's talk about them first couple of bumps. First couple of times you hit that mat, was it what you thought it was going to be?
It knocked the breath out of me.
You got to learn to exhale when you bump, you know?
Yeah, and as it went on, of course, I got used to it because your body gets that callus. But that's what a lot of people don't understand is when I first started training, when I was given that opportunity to be a ring announcer, they kind of stepped back from that side of it. I wasn't training as much in the ring. Like I just went full-fledged on announcing and doing commentary. So I didn't start fully training to wrestle again until 2021 when we met. And that's when I got with Sarge and Autumn.
And Sarge,
and that's what
Sarge, I mean, around our area, Sarge is a legend and a super legend around West Tennessee. Sarge is either mentored or helped train I think every guy or girl who's come through West Tennessee in the past, I would say 20 years, maybe a little more than that. I mean, Sarge is a longtime veteran in the business, and Autumn's the daughter of Kilo. Autumn's a total rock star. Autumn can work her ass off, man. Two good people to learn from. And I witnessed a lot of matches between you and Autumn.
That first year.
Some knockdown drag outs, man. Autumn's tough as shoe leather. Don't think she ain't, man, because I seen y'all have some really, really chaotic matches that were stiff. They were intense. Really, really good matches. So let's talk about meeting Sarge and Autumn and then starting to be trained in the ring by these two.
Well, I was doing commentary at the time with the EIW. I'd done a little bit of refereeing around. Refereeing was never my strong point. I never felt comfortable doing that side of things because I didn't feel like I could ever get it down right.
Right.
And I had been working a little bit with Alex May at the time, like just before shows, a little bit of in-ring stuff. And where I tell people, this is the best way I can explain it. Greg gave me the basics of bumping. Autumn and Sarge taught me how to work.
Right.
They threw me out there and they had me learn. It wasn't a throw into the wolves. It was a throw you out there and let you pick up on what your strengths are, and we'll work on those weaknesses.
Right. Or just hide them all together. That's the problem with a lot of people. I mean, if you're a booker or a promoter, accentuate what your talent can do and use the Paul Heyman method. Hide what the hell they can't do. Just hide it as deep as you can. Hide it and play off of what they can do good. So let me ask you this, because I'm pretty sure the first time I ever seen you were actually refereeing. So did refereeing help you when you actually started wrestling? Did it help you get more comfortable in the ring in front of the fans and everything?
I would say it gave me a pacing for how to work around that ring. Like I said, I never felt comfortable refereeing because I didn't feel like I was any good at it. I was always so nervous to referee. It wasn't like when I was working a match. It was like when I was refereeing, I felt lost. I felt like I was confused. And I felt like, to be honest, I felt like I was dog shit.
See, I don't remember it like that. I remember you being a pretty damn good referee, man. I'll be honest with you. I remember you. I don't remember ever seeing you referee and me thinking this sucks or he sucks. You know, I don't ever remember that. So you know how wrestling is, and you know how people are in general. Confidence is everything, and a lot of times we get in our own heads. A lot of times our own judgments of ourselves cloud what we see and what we think. So I thought, man, like I said, from the first time I seen you referee, I thought you did damn good, and then I was blown away the first couple of times I seen you actually get in the ring and wrestle and work, because I did not expect you to take to it as good and as quick as you seem to, man. So let's talk about that. You get with Sarge, you get with Autumn, EIW still in New Bern, Tennessee. You go from refereeing to commentating, and then all of a sudden, boom, now they're starting to include you in the show. You're starting to have some angles and some matches. So let's talk about that aspect of it. What was it like to go from refereeing and commentary to now you got to feature you got a feature angle in the show? So what mentally, how did you handle that?
I honestly got a big ego at first. I'll be the first one to admit that. I thought higher of myself than I was, and that was my detriment. And I had to knock myself on my ass to learn. And I'm happy it went the way it did.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of young guys who get in the business, girls too, that do that. Moondog Spot, when he first started MCW in Osceola, you'd have guys come through and they look great, man, and you want to push them. He put them out there, and you would think, well, you know, I mean, when I say look great, built, look like TV stars already. Well, why aren't you doing more with them? And Dog straight up told me one night, he said he could point them out, certain guys. He said, you see that kid right there? Looks great, everything. But if you take him in and you give him too much too fast, he's going to get the big head. And he said, once that happens, there's a chance you'll never be able to get nothing out of him again, because he's going to think he's way better than he is. And so he would purposely keep guys like that starting out curtain jerking and working their way up the card, because, and I've seen it happen myself. You bring someone in that's got a look, can actually get in the ring and work, and got an attitude too. A lot of times, very few guys can handle being thrown right in a main event like that without getting the big head. And like you said, you get the big head in this business, especially at that stage, man, that's the quickest way to quit getting used and quit getting booked by anybody.
And that happened to me. You got to think that first main event match that I had, it was a 6-man tag. And I wasn't, to be honest with you, Buster, I wasn't ready.
Right.
I thought higher of myself than I was, and my weaknesses showed. I was scared. I didn't want to get off the apron. So then we took 3 to 4 months, and I was polishing myself after that, because I had to get myself ready to be ready.
Right. And that goes with the confidence too. Even if you got a big ego, man, I don't care how big ego big ego you got. That don't mean always. A lot of times that ego is a facade that you put out to people. A lot of times deep inside, your confidence ain't at the same level as you're portraying your ego is. And so you got to have time for that confidence to catch up with all the other stuff. And then once you got confidence and you get humbled a little bit, that's when you start really improving and really starting to grow in the wrestling business. And I kind of seen that with you, man, because I remember me and my wife, after you started wrestling a few matches, a few shows, me and you having a conversation. And I don't remember the details of it, but I do remember me and her leaving one night at EIW, and me telling her, the kid's starting to get the big head. He's starting to get the big head. And so I seen that firsthand, and then I seen you kind of level out, kind of come down a little bit, and start really paying attention, really learning, really absorbing all this stuff. And then you kind of just started really to skyrocket. I mean, you had some killer matches with Autumn. If I'm thinking right, $1 Million Baby. You've had some good matches with her. Some of the guys too. Here's the thing about you. You were versatile. You didn't you wasn't just wrestling the girls. Hell, sometimes you'd wrestle the guys too, and you'd have good matches with the guys. So talk about when your confidence started catching up with everything else, Drew, or Divo.
It's fine.
Everybody knows, man. We know.
Buster, I can honestly say I didn't feel fully confident in myself until after about 6 months. It took 6 months of working with Autumn, working with $1 Million Baby, and then also BB, the Mississippi Queen. I worked with BB. She took me from Texas to Arkansas, all over Tennessee. Jennifer Justice was another one that I was in the ring with. It took all these ladies working with me to really get me in that pace of like, hey, I'm okay. I got this. And then I ended up getting put in the program with Justin Hill, where I won the Hardcore Championship.
Right.
And that was the first time that I really felt like, holy shit, I'm doing it.
Right.
I'm learning.
Well, and that's what it's all about, man. Learning. You got to learn You got to absorb. So look, let's go from it. It actually took you a couple of years, I want to say, before you kind of found Divo Dior. You kind of were just. I mean, you were Drew. For all of us, you were Drew, and even when you first started, actually in the ring, you were still Drew. So
Yes.
when did you figure out? Was it you on your own, or did Sarge help, or Autumn? When did you kind of realize, hey man, I need to find my persona. I need to find who I am in the business.
It was Autumn and Sarge. They had came to me and they had presented ideas of like having the glam and the makeup and everything that went with that territory. And I was never comfortable with that. I hated it. To be honest with you, I've had these conversations with you. I didn't want to do it because I didn't feel like that it would fit me. And then there came a point when I was in Memphis where we did that first ever glam school segment with Thunder Rosa where it clicked.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute.
And we did a whole thing. I mean, we had some, if people want to go back on my YouTube channel and find them, Becoming Divo. We did a thing, a couple of, you did some promos and some vignettes where you went from being Drew to becoming Divo Dior. And I'm gonna, where in the hell did you come up with the name? It fits like a fucking glove, but where did you come up with that name? Because I would have never thought of Divo Dior.
Have you ever heard of the band Dead or Alive from the 80s?
I hadn't, but when you first told me your first name was Divo, I was thinking Whip It. Yeah, I don't know if you too young to remember this, but in the early 80s, there was a band called Divo, and they had a big song called Whip It. And so that's the first thing I thought when you said Divo, but they spelled it Devo. So that's the first thing that crossed my mind was, and then in my head, I'm like, where in the hell is that connection? And I'm like, I don't understand how do we go from this to this until I kind of seen the gimmick and seen the character, and then it kind of all fell in place. What was it for you, man?
Well, there was a band in the 80s called Dead or Alive who was big in like the disco dance scene. And their singer, Pete Burns, who ended up having a career resurgence in the early 2000s through Celebrity Big Brother and things like that. Right before he passed away, he came back to music and released a song called Never Marry an Icon. In that song, there's a lyrics where he says, I am a delight, the Divo, the diva. And I was like, I looked up what Divo meant, and it's the male version of a diva. And I was like,
Cool,
well,
man.
and that's where it hit for me. I was like, wait a minute, that's exactly what I am, especially being mostly with women.
Right.
I'm not a diva. I'm the Divo of the division. And Dior was just because I wanted to have two D's. I was like double D, Divo Dior.
So did you make a last name list? You put Divo on paper and had like 10 names of your last name, and Dior was what fit, or did it just come to you? And what triggered it? Because that's the secret. I mean, people think that we just think these names up. A lot of times, other people actually give you your name. I mean, that's in the wrestling business. Somebody else will say something cool or call you something, and it'll stick. But Divo Dior, how did we land on Dior, man?
I needed a second name for Facebook. And I was talking to Briar Rose, of all people, and she had a Dior perfume. And that's how it went.
Well, there you go. That's how magic happens. We got Josh Haynes in here with us. What's up, Josh?
Hello, Josh. Hi, Sarah. I see your comment. It's nice to hear from you.
So, look, I mean, I don't know how many people know, but over the last couple of years, you've been dealing with some health issues. Are you comfortable talking about what you kind of been going through over the last couple of years?
Oh, absolutely. I have no problem. I mean, I have currently the big bald spot on the side of the head from it. I got diagnosed with lupus back in 2024, January 2024, because I had a knee injury that I know you remember. I tore my knee in the ring before I was supposed to have that World Heavyweight Championship match against David Dane for TIWF. And I had moved to Las Vegas. I think I was burnt out, Buster. I think I was just tired. I was hurt. I was more disappointed in myself than anything. And as I was going through the tides out there, I was noticing I wasn't healing. My knee wouldn't heal.
Right.
I didn't know what was wrong. I went and saw a doctor. Her name was Dr. Himman out in Las Vegas, and she'd asked me my family history. And she said, does anyone in your family have a history of lupus? My grandmother passed away from lupus. My mother has lupus. And we went through a series of testing and it came back. They said, you have lupus and you're currently evolving with your condition. And these are the steps we need to take. And as I've went on, it has been an up and down battle. There's been a lot of treatments I've turned down, a lot of things that I've had to change about myself. I've gained a lot of weight from the condition. And I've had my highs and I've had my lows. They wanted me to do chemotherapy to flush out my system, and I refused to do it because I didn't want to feel more sick while being sick.
Right.
And I think the worst thing that I've dealt with during this entire process is there's fatigue, there's swelling, and it's just a constant pain. So,
Well, look, explain to us exactly what lupus is, because I mean, me and you, I'm probably one of the first people that knew when you were diagnosed, but you know, I don't know exactly what it is, and here's the thing: I didn't realize it ran in your family like that.
yeah.
So explain to everybody exactly what lupus is and kind of what it does to you.
I'll give you the medical definition of it, and then I'll go into how it affects myself.
Yeah, then dumb it down for me.
Yes, sir. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease where the immune system mistakenly attacks healthy tissues and organs, causing a widespread inflammation and damage to the joints, skin, kidneys, heart, and brain.
Mm.
So essentially what my body is doing, instead of healing itself, it is attacking itself. Like it's very hard. Like the best way to explain it to people that don't understand what it is you get a cold, you can get over a cold in 2 to 3 days. I get a cold, I'm down for 2 to 3 weeks.
So let me ask you this. I mean, I'm assuming it didn't just pop up out of nowhere. These symptoms kind of crept up on you without you knowing it until boom. Then all of a sudden you get a diagnosis. You go to find out what is wrong with you, and you get this diagnosis of lupus. What was your first reaction to that, Divo?
I cried because I watched what it did to my grandmother before she passed. Because that's what a lot of people don't realize. The rates that it excels are different in every single patient. Like where I'm losing my hair on the side of my head, where it's just a bald spot, only 70% of patients experience the alopecia aspect of lupus. My mother still has all of her hair, but where my mom is in good health and in remission, I've done some labs in this past year, and I'm currently experiencing the early stages of kidney and heart failure.
And here's something else with making it hard to heal, and like even getting a cold or anything like that. I would assume that it makes wrestling a lot more dangerous for you than it would normally be for somebody, because if you do get hurt, or if you get, and look, we know it don't happen as much as you think it should, but with these dirty wrestling mats and shit. But I'm assuming if you was to catch staph from a wrestling mat, it would be really devastating for you. It's bad enough on anybody anyway with a strong immune system. So let's talk about that. Did you think that you was pretty well done in the ring when you got this diagnosis, or did you never even give that a thought?
I was done. I accepted it. I had made my peace. I called, ironically, Danny Ice and Lindsey Wild, had a long conversation with them. I was ready to be settled and just be done. I've accepted. I did what I did. I made the impact that I did, or I felt that I made. I worked with everyone I wanted to work with, and I was ready to just quietly settle down and live in Las Vegas. I got married to my husband, and I had settled. And then when I came back in 2024, I moved back to Tennessee. Right after the diagnosis, I moved here in April. I got a text from Luke Justice, and he was like, hey, we have Natalia Markova coming in. She doesn't have an opponent. Would you be willing to do it?
So you couldn't pass that up.
I couldn't. And at this point, Buster, you have to think, it had been since July of 23 since I had been in the ring. Almost an entire year. I hadn't even thought about it. I was like, am I going to be blown up? What's going to happen? I took it on a whim because Briar Rose is the one that told me, she said, you'll never get this opportunity again.
Right.
So I took the match, went out there with Natalia and Markova in Piggott, Arkansas, and it clicked. It clicked again. I retore my knee in the first 5 minutes of that match. I'd stepped the wrong way and tore it, and I worked with Natalia. But being out there, I realized something afterwards that, yes, this is detrimental to me, but I love this so much, Buster. I couldn't stay away truly. And I'd had a lot of swelling and fatigue afterwards. I was down for about 2 weeks after that match because, to be honest, I took an ass beating from her. I can see why she is where she is now. But I was like, maybe I could come back. And I took some more time away, and then my second match back was a mixed tag team match in Mississippi. I had faced, I teamed with Anthony Ray against Vira Lestrange and Carnage, the indie icon. And that was in September of that year. And then I had taken some more time, rested, recuperated, and then ended up coming back in April, and I faced Jennifer Justice for ICW. And I just took some time away. I had some long talks with Danny, Lindsay, and even Alex. Briar Rose was there as well. And I just, like, realistically speaking, if I want to come back, I want to come back when I'm ready. So I had taken a small reffing position where I was back in the ring refereeing at TCW for a couple shows just to see how I could feel.
Right.
I rode with Alex. And then the opportunity came where Crusher had the spot open at ICW. Danny Ice had got me in there. And we started me out in tag matches. And to be honest with you, Buster, I didn't know how long this journey would last. I feel like I have a timer. And I've embraced that. I'm trying to do as much as I can because I want to give as much as I can. And it's been difficult. And I'm not going to lie and say it's been the easiest thing in the world. There's times where I don't want to get out of bed.
Right.
But I'm fighting because I feel like if I can do this, I can show other people that you can do it. And to be honest, this bitch isn't ready to give up his crown.
Well, and here's the thing. Well, Danny Ice says, I love working with Divo any chance I get. But did it, you got this diagnosis, you kind of thought, well, I'm done in the wrestling business. The phone rings, you get this opportunity. I feel like it probably made you appreciate it more than you did before because you're a young guy. Tell everybody how old you are. I mean, you're a young guy to get this kind of diagnosis this young, man.
I just turned 25.
25. I was thinking you was probably 24, man. And so let me ask you this: when was your mother diagnosed with lupus?
She was diagnosed when I was 14.
And so I mean, so apparently she's been, is she still, is she, like you said, she was in remission or she is in remission. So that brings me to you. You said you've kind of turned down some treatments and stuff. Are you going to start fighting this thing aggressively?
When that time comes, to be honest with you, Buster, I'm not wanting to do chemotherapy.
I can understand that. My mama did it, and I think sometimes it makes them feel worse than, like, my mom got diagnosed with stomach cancer, but it was so bad and so late that she got diagnosed 3 months later, she was dead. I mean, it was that fast, but she did do chemo and stuff, but I mean, she said that the chemo made her feel worse than the actual cancer did. So chemo is a tough thing to deal with and do anyway. But I mean, is there any other treatments that you do other than chemo? Is there anything else? Is chemo the main treatment for lupus or what?
That's to flush out. From the way they explained to me, they wanted me to do chemotherapy to flush out my immune system, then start with further treatment from there. I asked for an alternative route, and they told me the best thing that I could work on doing was completely changing my diet, change how I went about things, and they said I'll have flare-ups, but as long as I can manage it, I'll be okay. And if I have any detrimental symptoms, to come back. I have an appointment set up with a rheumatologist in Jackson that I'm waiting for them to call me back and finalize those details. But it's just been one of those things that it's touch and go, Buster.
Right.
It's nothing set in stone. I could wake up one day feeling amazing. I could wake up one day not getting out of bed.
Right. I can understand that. And you left from here. What year did you leave here? Was it 2023?
Yes.
Okay, you moved to Nevada, to Las Vegas, met your husband in Nevada. I'm assuming he's from Las Vegas.
Yes.
Born and raised.
Yes.
And so now y'all are back here. So talk to me about this. How do you take a kid who was born in Las Vegas, bright lights, big city, and get him to move into Podunk, Tennessee, man, or Arkansas, or wherever, anywhere around here? How did that happen, man?
I think he was ready to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city life. He was ready to experience something different. I wanted to come back to be closer to my family.
Right.
Because, like I said, in that mindset that I was in when I first got diagnosed, to be honest with you, I was like, when my grandmother was diagnosed, she died 8 months later. That's the mindset that I had. Because they told me it was progressing very fast. And it's gotten to the point where when we moved down here, we were in New Bern, and he had to learn a lot. It was very different for him.
I imagine.
He's not used to the Bible thumpers. He's not used to the hospitality of everybody. He didn't understand there's a lot of things you can't do down here that you can do there.
You can do it. You just you might get a reaction out of it. You can do it, but and it's got to be hard around. I mean, we are smack dab in the Bible Belt, and I mean, there's a lot of people thumping Bibles around here. So I imagine it was a culture shock for him.
I'll give you an example. The first house that we stayed in was a colonial style home that was built in 1923, and it still had a separate entrance for the help.
Damn.
It was the side door. And the first question he asked me, he was like, does everyone in the South use their side door as a front door? And I had to sit him down and say, Anthony, I'm going to explain something to you. I said, that door was for the help. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, in simple terms, I said, that door was used by Black people in the early 20s up until about the 60s.
Right.
And he looks at me, he goes, that's real? I was like, yes, that is very real. That is very real, Anthony.
And you got to tell him too. And yes, now we all use our back door, our side door as our front door. We very seldom. I very seldom walk through the front door of my house. I always walk through the side door.
And that was the thing that, like I said, when it was a culture shock to him, it was the hospitality. And that was another thing. He had never experienced like real racism. He saw that here firsthand. He saw how some of these people talked to me. I was like, Anthony, that's a very real thing. So we had to have those real life conversations because I had to explain to him, it's not going to be like the West Coast where everybody's all peace, love, happiness, smoke your weed and be happy and go on about your day. I said, down here, it's very different. Because like the first thing he asked when we got here is like, where's the dispensary? I was like, oh, we don't have those.
No. Let me make a phone call and we'll probably meet a dude in the alley across town somewhere, man.
Because that was a thing that when I was in Nevada, they had prescribed me medical marijuana. I'm a bitch. I can't smoke. I'm gonna be honest with you. I
was just fixing to ask you, how did that work for you? Because look, I've been smoking since I was 13, and I'm a big weed advocate. And I think society's finally catching up. My dad, old school, born in 1935, his drug of choice was alcohol. He was a drinker. And he used to tell me when I was a teenager, boy, you smoking that wacky weed. And I tell him, one day this shit's going to be legal. No, it ain't. It'll never be legal. And, of course, he passed away before he got to see the day we're coming into now with dispensaries and a lot of states going completely recreational. So you didn't even give weed a chance. You just couldn't take it or what?
I tried it. I couldn't smoke it because I coughed up a lung every time. And then my doctor, she straight up told me, she said, try an edible.
That's what I was fixing to say.
Tried edibles. I threw up everywhere.
You took too much. You took too much. Dude, even me, man, when we first started, when the dispensaries first opened up, like we used to make edibles, make our own. But that's a hit and miss game. Like, you don't know what you're getting. It could be good. It could be weak. You don't really know. But when the dispensary opened up, and I got a high tolerance for weed. But, man, the first couple of times I took edibles, I was one of them that thought, oh, man, I've been smoking my whole life. Some of the best weeds you've ever smoked. Edibles are different. Edibles hit you different. Even me, the first couple of times I took edibles, I got nauseated real bad, but I just had to figure out my doses. So have you tried edibles?
I threw up on 10 milligrams.
Well, take it down to 5 and try.
And
I'm serious.
I kind of, to be honest with you, I gave up on that aspect of it. And then I transitioned into, I eat, like I've cut sugar out recently. Like I'll have my coffee and I'll make it with honey. I eat a lot of quinoa. There's been diet changes and my husband's been a big help with that because before we had got married, he was in MMA and boxing.
Okay.
So he had followed a strict regime and he's the reason why I had dropped all the weight that I had dropped before I came down here. He had put me on a strict diet. We worked out. We did what we needed because as soon as he heard my diagnosis, to him, it wasn't a death sentence. It was an opportunity for change.
Right. And with him being in MMA and stuff like that, then he knows what it's about to be in shape. Got to be in shape to do that. So, I mean, it seems like y'all have a real good thing going, man. Was there any apprehension? I know you wanted to come back to be around your family, but what was your apprehension like, knowing what the reaction you might get when y'all got down here?
My apprehension was more so of the treatment options that they had here compared to we're in Las Vegas. All my doctors were in-house in one building downtown. My labs, everything was in one single building. Down here, I'd have to go to Jackson for one doctor, go to Memphis for another, travel around.
Right.
Like I have my primary care physician is in Milan. That was my only thing. I was nervous about that because I was like, it's not as available, I guess, per se.
Right.
It's more so you got to put in a little more work.
Well, how long have y'all been back now? You've been back, what, a year and a half, maybe? Almost 2 years, maybe?
2 years in April.
So it seems to be working out. Everybody, he's falling into the groove of how life is down here.
He likes it. He's, like I said, it was a culture shock at first, but he's come around.
It's a lot slower. We live life a lot slower, I'm sure, than they do in Las Vegas. So
I introduced him to what Southern food was. He's never had biscuits and gravy. Didn't eat collard greens.
So give me the verdict, man. What's he think about that soul food, man?
Ask those 30 pounds he's gained.
Now you got to get him in the gym, man. Get him off the soul food, man. Off the collard greens and stuff. So look, man, we're going to get on to a more upbeat subject now, man. I just wanted to touch base with you on that. That way these people kind of get to know you and know what you've gone through in your life. And I got something I want to talk to you about, the Women's Wrestler of the Year. But before we get there, y'all have a huge show coming up this Saturday in Huntington, Inhumane Championship Wrestling. ODB's going to be there. And you're actually going to be in the ring with ODB. So let's talk about this big show you got coming up Saturday. And I mean, ODB's a G. So,
when that match was brought to me, it was I feel like that is a culmination of all the hard work that I have put in over the course of the past 8 years. Natalia Markova was a test. ODB will be the final chapter. And when I say that ODB is the final chapter for me, I grew up watching TNA. I love the Knockouts division. I watched her win, as she calls them, the 4-time that she was the knocked up champ. Well, here's how I feel about ODB. She's one dirty bitch, yes. To me, she's 10 years past her prime getting in the ring with me. She's coming from my spotlight. So what a better way than to teach her a lesson alongside the Mississippi Queen BB. Her and Just Missy want to prance in and take everything that I've uplifted and created. I'm the reason why ICW has a viable women's division. Before I was there, it was 3-minute matches and nobody getting attention. I come in and I've just changed the entire landscape. ODB wants to step in the ring with me. I'm going to have to teach her a lesson because she's on her final run. I told her this will be her retirement match. Because I have nothing to lose, Buster. I have nothing to lose.
I got all the confidence in the world in you, Divo, but that's a big, bold statement right there, man. I know she was just at EPW this past weekend or whenever they did their taping, and now she's headed to Inhumane, and Inhumane's got some big things going on.
They do. Every week on Dark Realm TV on the Roku app.
They do Corning and they do Huntington. I get, what do? They alternate them. Do Corning 1 month, Huntington the next, and then flip back and forth.
Yes, and then in March we will be going to Brookport, Illinois.
I seen that flyer. I did see that flyer the other day. So branching out, and like you said, they're on the dark realm. Roku, you can go to the Roku app, type in Dark Realm, and you can go there and catch Inhumane Championship Wrestling. Not only that, if I'm thinking right, Dark Realm's a kind of a horror channel, so you probably got some good horror movies, and there's no telling what you're gonna find there. And it seems like a perfect fit for Inhumane Championship Wrestling.
Absolutely. It's $4.99 a month, or I believe $49.99 a year for the subscription. It's one of those things that streaming is the next step in professional wrestling for us to find content. And with Dark Realm, there's that partnership where not only do they give us the chance to reach more eyes, but we give them the chance to expand their content. And ODB, huge deal coming in, but there's also other matches on that card that need some light, because let's not give her all the spotlight. She's good, but we have homegrown talent that needs the spotlight as well. There's Devin Grimes versus Jeremy for the World Heavyweight Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls.
I've actually got Devin coming on in March. I want to say, don't hold me to this exact date. I want to say it's March 19th. I ain't got my book right in front of me to look at, but I've got Devin coming on in March. And Jeremy, man, he's been a part of Inhumane since it started. Hell of a talent. Tell us about some of the other talent we're going to see.
I believe it'll be Vyra Lestrange, who is a Scott Armstrong student out of Alabama, facing the one and only Lindsay Wild, who I just, in November, got out of a heated rivalry with. She hasn't been seen since I smashed her ankle and hit her over the head with the perfume bottle. So I'm excited to see what she does on her return. Because Vyra is one of those characters that she comes in and you don't know what to expect. Like I said, she was trained by Scott Armstrong. She's been big in the Diamond Championship Wrestling, but she's currently on the Ultraviolet Tour, where she's booked for the next, I think, 6 months, Buster, every weekend. And I faced her in one of her first matches. And to see her growth, I'm ready to see what she does with Lindsay Wild. Because Lindsay, she's one of those that she's timid at first, but when she gets fired up in that ring, she doesn't realize how good she really is.
Yeah,
She's
Lindsay,
grown so much.
She is timid, a little introverted. And it ain't just in the ring. It's been a while ago. It might have been 6-7 months ago, but I seen somebody piss her off on Facebook, and I seen a different side of Lindsay that I'd never seen before. So don't get Lindsay Wild riled up. That's all I'm going to say. Look, Alex Cross. He says Alex versus Divo.
I don't think that would be much of a match. I'd like to see him in the bedroom, maybe.
Damn, that's a whole different podcast. All right, so here we go. Alex, I'm throwing out the offer right now. We got the Divo Dating Game podcast. I'm promoting it, man. We get y'all on here, man. We might make a matchup, dude. I don't know about that. I don't know. Alex got a wife and kids. I don't know if Alex is going to go for that, but he's a hell of a talent. We all know that.
I would love to work with him. I've always wanted to work with him.
And Danny says, talking about you, he was shy at first. I guess he thought he was. I guess he thought we were crazy at first. Anthony's real cool. Anthony, your husband, right?
Yes.
Okay. Said Anthony's real cool. He also says Devin Graves versus Jeremy Travis. That should be a hell of a match. James is back and says, I'm out of here. Love you, Buster. Damn! There goes there goes one viewer right there, Divo. So talk to us. Tell us about some of the other talent, because I know they got Inhumane always, they got a big roster, and they always have a stacked card. Like, everybody has something to do at Inhumane. So who else are we going to see Saturday?
There will be a tag team championship match where Sky Black and T-Dog defend their titles against Jack Diamond and Matt Storm. There will also be a triple threat match where it will be Danny Ice versus Trash Can versus Dustin Wolf. That's one of those that's a big man match right there. That's one of those that you don't any outcome is unexpected, because you don't know what Trash Can could do, you don't know what Danny could do, and then there's Dustin Wolf, who I feel like is very underrated.
He just won the Nonstop Wrestling Alliance. I
United
don't.
States Championship.
Okay, there you go. I was going to say I don't know the exact title, but I seen the post he made talk and said Ann knew with the belt. And Trash Can. Now, am I wrong? Did you and Trash Can not have? Don't y'all have some issue going on too, or you had some issue going on?
We had a one-on-one match, and to be honest with you, I couldn't call it a match because he whooped my ass. he taught me a lesson. I said something about his weight, and he took me from one side of that ring to the other. And I believe the last thing I remember was looking up at the lights.
There you go. He's a big guy. He's got a lot of experience in the wrestling business, man. So yeah. You said something about his weight, and instead of Trash Can, he treated you like a Coke can and crushed you. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. He was hungry. He said he left his manners at the table.
So who else might we see?
I know Mo Murder Cashman will be there. Bam Bam Baker will be there. And you never know. From my understanding, I believe this is breaking news for you, but I believe there might be a battle royal happening at the beginning of the show where there will be a lot of new faces getting a chance to possibly be a part of ICW in the coming future.
Well, that'll be cool.
I'm
Bam
very
Bam
excited.
Baker, Bam Bam, he's a former, I want to say, I may be wrong about this. I want to say he's a former 2-time Inhumane Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. I could be wrong about that. I know he's a 1-time, but I want to say he's a 2-time Inhumane Champion.
Inhumane has a lot of great things coming up. Like I said, they're coming to Brookport, Illinois on March 28th, expanding the territory. Now they're in 3 different states. There's a lot more things in the work. I know sooner or later we'll have that television title, that women's title's coming.
Well, that'll be cool.
There's a lot of things that I'm very excited to come to fruition with that company. And it's one of those things that you never know what's going to happen because there's always a chance for somebody to shine.
Right. And this is a Crusher Coat Off production, man. Him and his wife started Inhumane a couple of years ago now. And they've really done a great job with it, man. I mean, they started it out of nowhere and started in Corning, then took over up here in Huntington. Now they're moving to Illinois. So progress, man. That's what it's all about, man. Is progress. They always put on the one thing I notice about Inhumane, the show always seems fun.
It is.
Like, not just for fans, but I feel like the guys and girls are having fun too. I feel like they like the company, they like what they're doing, and it shows through when you see their matches and stuff.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why I was so comfortable with coming back when I was contacted in August. Was they had that open door policy for me. They embraced everything, and I couldn't be more grateful. And that's ironically, I'm going to Nonstop Wrestling Alliance next month. I'll be facing, I believe, Zay Alexander on March 21st in Paris, Tennessee.
Nonstop, man, I'll be honest with you, Nonstop has some of the best crowds around this part of West Tennessee, man. They really, every time I see any footage or any pictures from their show, I feel like the crowd's bigger than it was the last show. And that's been consecutive for probably a year now, man.
Yes.
They've really turned it on and really drawing some good houses. And it looks like it's a fun company too.
From my awareness there, from me, I've came to quite a few of their shows where I've just sat back before I ever had any talks about coming in. I've enjoyed the atmosphere. Right. It seems like it's a very fun environment. I'm excited to see what I can do there. And then I've also had some run-ins with Wildcard Wrestling ran by Luke Justice. I know they have a show coming up March 6th. I believe it's Shamrock Showdown. And they have a cancer benefit on March 20th for Jimmy Wayne, where they have an open invitation for any workers from any area, anybody that wants to come help and raise money for that awareness. That's a great thing that's going on.
Yeah, Wildcard. Now, I think actually now it's being booked by Roy Ward, Zane Richards. I don't know if you know him. Longtime veteran in the business. His daddy was a wrestler, was Easy Rider. He's a second-generation guy. I've actually got him coming on the week of the benefit show. I've got Zane coming on, and we're going to talk all about Wild Card and what's going on with it and the benefit show. So if you get a chance to go back to Wild Card, I'd go check it out, man, and see. They just had a big show. They just had Austin Aries, Richard Holiday. Now I did see apparently there was some heat there. I ain't gonna get into none of that, but I know Zane went live and there was some kind of issues with a couple of the talent, and he was one of them. But I'm not so sure they didn't get that worked out. But Zane gonna be a good person to work for. He's a no nonsense. He don't take no shit from anybody. I don't care if you're Austin Aries or who. He's gonna treat all the guys and girls the same.
Exactly. And I don't mind promoting anybody that needs it, because at the end of the day, we're all independent wrestlers and we all want to uphold and boost up a show as much as we can.
Tim Davis is on here. He says, Buster, my brother, you got a good one on tonight.
Hi, Tim.
He was actually the guy who brought me to EIW to film the show. Tim was actually doing the booking when I first got there.
Tim was the first person that gave me my first bump in EIW.
There you go.
Him and Red Walker. Tim knocked my ass off the apron and Red hit me with a choke slam in the middle of the ring.
My damn, that was what, a 7-foot choke slam? Red's a damn giant, man. So let's talk about this Woman Wrestler of the Year. What is going on here? I feel like you got some heat with this somewhere. So fill us in, smarten us up on what's going on, Divo.
Inhumane held a fan-voted award ceremony, and the fans voted me Women's Wrestler of the Year because I've done a majority of my work with the women. I mix it up with the guys when the opportunity's there. I have no problem wrestling. These hands are rated E for everyone. And the way I see it with the women, Buster, I'm going to say it here, I've said it so many times, I won't hit a woman, but I have no problem smacking a bitch.
There you go, man.
And there was a lot of, I guess anger would be the word, with a lot of people from the outside looking in, because they felt either this woman or this one deserved the opportunity to be Women's Wrestler of the Year. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna cut it straight with you. The fans voted me as Women's Wrestler of the Year, whether that was them trying to be funny or them taking it as they would. I took that award. I wear it with pride and honor, because until there's another woman to take it from me, I will stand. I'm here until I'm not here. I will stand 10 toes against that, and I don't care who has a problem with it, because the same people that doubt me and criticize me won't stand to me face and face and say it. They're keyboard warriors, and I promise you that.
Did this hit you from left field as far as you actually being voted the Woman of the Year, Woman Wrestler of the Year? Did you expect it, or what was your thoughts when it all played out like it did?
I was shocked. I didn't expect it at all, because I'm not biologically a woman.
Right.
I feel like my name was thrown out there as a joke, and then it became something. But the same people that wanted to laugh at me don't realize the monster that they've created, Buster. Because I can promise you, every chance that I get, you're going to get it rubbed in your face that I was voted Women's Wrestler of the Year. This comeback that I started in August wasn't just a personal journey. It was to see if I could still go, because I felt like I lost myself there for a while. And it has been the best ride that I could have expected.
So let's no, go ahead, Divo. Finish your thought.
I apologize. I was saying,
no, you're good.
I have worked with a myriad of men, women, and everything in between. I've gotten to test myself in ways that I never thought I would. I've gotten to see women like Lindsay Wild, Vira Lestrange. I can't talk. I'm so sorry. I've got to see them grow. I've got to work with Island Girl TT. I've got to work with Cassandra Golden. I've got to mix it up with just various aspects. And now here I am having this match Saturday where it's myself and the Mississippi Queen BB against Just Missy and ODB. What a better closing chapter than that.
So you keep saying that. You keep saying closing chapter and last and this and that. I mean, are you fixing to be done in the ring? Or are we going to see you continue to wrestle?
The way I feel about it is I love this. I will never not be here for this. But I have to be realistic with everybody. My health is something of major concern to me. I'm very happy being at home with my husband, but I feel like my talents are better used on the outside of that ring, because where I feel like I can do well inside, I'm very much better on that microphone.
Right.
So I will be taking a step back to
Well,
manage and help with the women's division.
well, me and you were kind of talking. You also kind of got your fingers in some of the backstage stuff too. So that's
Yes.
somewhere where I know you want to be. I know for a fact that's somewhere that's something that you really are interested in and really enjoy doing. So let's kind of touch on that. Look, Tim Davis says he needs to come back and give his managerial experience. Maybe there you go. Maybe Tim's your new manager, Divo.
I need something. I need something. Because I will say this, I've shown at various ICW shows in the past 6 months that I don't need a microphone. I'm louder than any PA system they got. I've been very grateful for this run that I'm having, Buster. It's given me, I fell in love with this again. But like I said, I have to be very realistic. I'm ready to take a step back and address some things. I'm ready to work side by side with more women, hopefully bringing them in and doing what I can there. But I'm also ready to be at ringside. I feel like if I can elevate somebody else, my job is done.
Right. And here's the thing. We need everybody to be clear. You wrestle women, you wrestle men, but you wrestle the same pretty much. Like when the women step in there with Divo, you don't wrestle like a woman. You wrestle like a guy, like every other wrestler out there. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it helps a lot of these women to step in there. Here's the deal. We can put you in there with some of these girls and get magic out of it, where it's hard sometimes to put. How you gonna put Trash Can Graham in the ring with one of these ladies, and how you gonna make it logical and believable? You know what I mean? Without him basically just coke canning them too. And I feel like that's a big plus that you have, man. It's because you're versatile. If they need you in there with the women, you're fine there. But also, if they need to throw you in there with the guy, you're good there too. So which do you actually like better, man? Do you like wrestling the ladies better or the men better?
I like getting paid.
I know that, but tell me, be honest, which one do you like better? I know you got a choice.
I plead the fifth.
It's the girls, ain't it?
I will say this. A lot of people can say what they want about me and my experience level, and I'll leave you with an open-ended answer of I've had great matches with men, I've had great matches with women. I have had some of my hardest hits from the women, and I have been tested by women the most. But when that time comes, you'll never know when I'll pop up and who I'll be against. Like I said, March 21st, I will be at Nonstop Wrestling Alliance against Zay Alexander. Who knows what Inhumane may throw at me in the next 6 months.
That's right. Dark Realm's a really cool thing, man. So I mean, that's a feather in Inhumane's cap. It's a feather in everybody who works there's cap, man, because it's different. It ain't like I said, the Dark Realm is it's on Roku. Can you get it on Fire TV too, or is it just strictly a Roku thing?
I believe it may be on the Amazon Fire Stick as well.
And it's really cool. And like I said, it's a perfect fit. Crusher Koloff, he's a juggalo at heart. We all kind of know that. He's also a horror movie freak and fan, because I am too. Man, he's got to meet some of pretty much all the horror icons. Man, sometimes I go through Crushers. I had him on the podcast here a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I was looking for pictures and stuff, and I was going through, and I was amazed by all the different horror icons, people who played Jason, the last girls in the horror movies. Man, he's been there and kind of met them all. So the Dark Realm is a perfect fit for Inhumane and Crusher Koloff. I believe that 100%. Donnie, what's up, dude? I'm glad you're in here, man. So let's talk about this. We're finna start winding it down. We've already we're in an hour and 10 in. So what's the future hold, Divo? I mean, be realistic. Shoot me straight. You're dealing with your situation. You're dealing with the lupus. Obviously, you've got a super passion for wrestling. You still want to be involved, but I feel like right now your in-ring matches are going to be limited. If we see you in the ring, it's not going to be in a full-time basis where you're in the ring 2 or 3 times a week. I feel like you're going to kind of be limited. So is it behind the scenes stuff, or are you wanting to get back on the stick full time? Because I know before you really found Divo, your goal was to get hired by TNA or somebody to do commentary, if nothing else, man. And you're good at commentary. So realistically, what are your goals for the future in the wrestling business?
I feel like overall throughout this entire run, I've learned one thing is that working with women, I have excelled on how to deal with women, how to elevate women, and how to even promote women. I think my end goal with this journey is as my passions change, I want to be in a backstage role. I want to work with the women's division. I want to elevate wherever I can.
Right.
If they need me to go out there in the ring and have a match with a girl, no problem with it. If they need me to be a body and have a match with one of the guys, I'll be there. It just won't be on a consistent basis. And I've accepted that, and I'm okay with that. Because once you're a wrestler, it's like the mafia. You never get out. You're never done. Right. I'll never say that I'm done. I'll probably, if God willing, I'll be 75 trying to get my ass in the ring.
It happens, man. I mean, it's hard to, once you get the bug, it really never leaves. You can stay away for a while, but eventually, like me, something drags you back in the business and back around the business. So it is like the mafia in that sense. It's hard to get out once you get in, man.
And the best way to explain it is once I wrap up these next couple shows that I got, whether I'm at ringside or in the back, I promise you, Buster, these people don't understand how fast I can go from retired to real tired, just like that.
And that's one thing I've always loved about you, Divo. You keep a sense of humor, because I know, I mean, we're not going to delve into it now, but you've told me I kind of know how your personal life was growing up and stuff. So you haven't had the easiest, simplest life. Had a lot to deal with through your life, but you always seem to keep a good attitude. That personality always seems to shine through. That's what I fell in love with you, was your personality. You were just so gung-ho, so enthusiastic, and that passion, you could just see it. Just talking to you, the first time me and you had a conversation, I think it lasted probably 35 minutes, We'd never met each other, and you're kind of telling me all this stuff, and I'm trying to comprehend it, but I love the fact that you had that kind of passion for the business, because that's what wrestling needs. Wrestling needs guys and girls that love the business to that extent. And Crusher Koloff, my family hates me because I'll watch some of the most C-D-E grade horror movies that you ever want to see, and they hate me when I do it, man. So let me ask you this, Divo. Mm-hmm. So your husband, MMA guy, you're a wrestler guy. So had he ever had any experience with the pro wrestling business at all? Was he a wrestling fan?
He was, but he doesn't like coming to live shows. He doesn't like crowds, which is the weirdest thing about him doing the boxing and the MMA that he did before. And then he ended up having an injury last year where he cut off all the fingers on his right hand. So he's stepped back from that. We had a complete reconstructive surgery. And now the way that he stands is he wants to see me be happy in whatever I'm doing. And that's the synopsis of our marriage. To be honest with you, as long as we're happy, that's all we care about. And he knows the passion that I have for this. He knows the opportunities I've had and that I've lost. He's been there every step of the way. But there's been one thing that's been consistent this entire time. He said it like Bert said it. I will have a job in this business until I don't want a job. Well, you can't get rid of me.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to ask you, too. Now that he's kind of been smartened up and kind of seen how the business behind the scenes actually works, what does he think about that? Because we all know sometimes the wrestling business can be full of drama, and it's always full of politics. No matter where you are, some companies, the politics don't play as big a role as in others, but behind the scenes, there's always politics going on in the wrestling business. What was his thoughts kind of once he's seen how this business actually works?
I'll tell you from firsthand. He's seen how it works. He's seen how people are, but he knows one thing. If there's anything that I've proven, it's that I'm a fighter, and I have overcame so much, and I can overcome anything, Buster. There's not one task that I'm not ready to take on head on, and I'm very excited for this next chapter. Because whether I be in the back or I'm at ringside managing one of your favorites, I will be seen and heard in one way or another.
And so let me ask you this, and we're going to wrap it up. If you got a call, I mean, from any of the upper echelon companies, TNA, NWA, WWE, AEW, and they called you, what would be your dream job? What would you want to be an announcer? Would you want to work backstage with the ladies? What would be your dream job? If you was to get that call, what would immediately make you say, oh yeah, I'm coming?
Producing and helping talent. That is my passion. I love to help anybody find who they are. Because when I first started, I had to find who I was, and it's a journey. And a lot of times you need those people to guide you and help you find out what fits you, where you can go, and how you can do it.
Right.
But I think I would take that method that Bert took. You have to start from the bottom. You have to scrape and grind and go from there.
Yeah, you gotta accept this business, and you gotta learn this business to succeed in this business. It's as simple as that, man. You got to learn everything there is to learn about this business. You do that, you got a bigger chance to succeed in this business, whether you make it all the way to the top of the WWE or you stay around here and you make it to the top of the companies around here. The politics and stuff is all kind of the same, just more pressure. The higher up you move, the more pressure's on you to deliver, so I think if you got a call, who would you want to get a call from?
TNA.
That's kind of always been your go-to, man. I mean, every conversation me and you've ever had about you kind of putting yourself out there and trying to go somewhere else and get further, you always seem to come back to TNA. Seems to be the one place that you really want to go and ply your trade at.
Exactly. And I've had my opportunities where I've had them. I've had things that haven't quite worked out. We've had those discussions. But Buster, I can fully say that now, thinking back all these years later, I'm glad they didn't go the way that I thought they went, because it taught me so much more. And during this whole journey with my health and coming back, there has been two things that I have to take away from it. Appreciate what you have and put your faith in God, because God will show you any path that you need to be shown.
And that's it right there. A lot of times we want stuff way faster than we're actually ready for it. But God puts you where you need to be when you need to be there. So, when I was young, I was the same way. You want it all right then. But as you get older, you realize sometimes you're not ready for that opportunity if you get it right now. You need another year or two. You need a few more things to happen in your life. If you're young, you need to mature some, because being mature in the wrestling business is a big deal. A lot of times being young and immature, man, that causes you a lot of headaches and issues in the wrestling business. It can get you blackballed. If your attitude's bad enough, you can be completely out of the business.
Yes, and a lot of people don't understand the one aspect. Sometimes in this business, you have to eat shit and learn to like the taste of it.
There you go, man. I'll be honest with you, I've never liked that saying. But that's part of paying your dues in the wrestling business. It just is. That's just part of it. Same thing as setting up chairs, sweeping floors, selling tickets, whatever it is you do in the wrestling business, that's part of paying your dues. And here's what I like to say. We all want to be the star, but you can't always be the star. A lot of times you got to be the butt of the joke in the wrestling business. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Dude, is there anything that we hadn't discussed that you want to discuss before we get off here, man?
I guess I have one final question for you, if I may ask it towards you.
Shoot.
Considering to where we first met to where I am now, what is your biggest takeaway of me and my talent? And honestly, how do you feel that I've progressed?
I think you've done great. I'll be honest with you. I think if you hadn't had your health issues and stuff, I see you being a lot further up the totem pole than you are right now. But I mean, look, I seen something in you pretty much immediately. Like I said, I didn't think much about you when you was refereeing because I mean, I just show up one day and then you're in there refereeing. I'd never seen you before. So in my head, you're more than likely just a trainee that they threw in there they're getting ready to put in the ring and you're learning by refereeing. But then you got on the microphone and did commentating, and I seen a different side of you. I seen more of your personality come out. Then finally you get in the ring and I seen more and more of your personality come out, man. I think that I think you've done great, man. I think, and here's something else too. I think you have grown as a person. Forget the wrestling business, forget all that crap. I think you have grown as a person since the first day I met you. Tremendously. Like your maturity, everything. I think you've grown up a lot since the first time we ever met. And I think just stay on the track, man. Look, I mean, all of us, I wanted to be the world heavyweight champion, but it didn't work out that way. But I'm still in the business, switching what I do and kind of trying to reinvent myself and doing other things. And I'll be honest with you, me personally, I feel like I'm where I always was meant to be right now. Like it wasn't meant for me to be the world heavyweight champion. That wasn't my destiny. But I feel like without being in the ring and doing all that, I wouldn't be able to do what I do now. You know, and I think you're the same way. You're kind of a jack of all trades in the wrestling ring, in the wrestling business. You've kind of Bert took you through, and you've kind of seen every aspect step by step of what this business is about. And that right there is knowledge you can't just, I mean, somebody's got to teach you this shit. Somebody's got to show this shit to you. You don't just know this shit because wrestling's full of little unwritten rules and little nuances and stuff that you do not know nothing about until you get in the business and you experience the business and you learn the business through experience. And I'm proud of you, Divo. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you as a wrestler and as a person. I'm proud of you, dude. I think you've grown a lot. I'm glad to see that you met your husband. I'm glad to see that you guys have created a life together. You're a lot more settled down now than I think you were when I first met you. When I first met you, you were kind of zing, 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 zing. We didn't know you never knew what was going on with Divo. But now I feel like you kind of found yourself. You know who you are, and I'm proud of you, dude.
Well, thank you.
Man, go ahead.
I'll say I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone that's been along for this journey, Buster. If it wasn't for everyone that's taught me one thing along the way or another, I don't think I would have been able to form who I was. And I had to get told no a lot of times to finally get that yes. I had to fight a lot of the times. There was a lot of times in the back that I can say that I fought for opportunities where I did things I didn't want to do. I shaved my head for a main event spot against Autumn. Right. I had to freaking fight my way to the top. I had to get knocked down so many times just to get back up. But there's one thing that I learned throughout this whole process, that things will come when it is time to come.
That right there. That's the most important. That is the golden rule. You cannot force something that it ain't ready yet. You can't force something that ain't ready yet. And that's the thing. I feel like just stay on the track you're on, keep pushing. You may not have an in-ring career, but I still feel like you keep pushing, you're going to make it to TNA before it's all said and done. Whether you're on the microphone or whether you're in the back helping produce some of the ladies, I feel like you'll get there, man. Just don't give up and take care of yourself. I mean, it's simple as that. Take care of yourself. You know, get on your treatments, do whatever you can do to push this thing off as far as you possibly can. And hopefully you'll go into remission.
I will say this. There's one thing that we've learned during our entire time of knowing each other is that I know how to make the connections I need to make.
And that's what wrestling is.
And when that time comes, it will happen. But until then, I will see everybody this Saturday in Huntington, Tennessee, because I have ODB to face. And that is one grand challenge that these past 8 years have prepared me for.
That's an opportunity of a lifetime, Divo. Look, Crusher's on here and he says, I tell him no all the time, but he don't want to listen to me. He just don't listen to me, man. Divo, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on. It was cool for us to kind of catch up, man. Like I said, it's probably been 2 years since me and you actually seen each other face to face and even had a conversation. So it's really cool. Man, keep me in touch with what's going on with you. And when you finally, that phone rings and it's TNA, I want to be the first to know, or at least the second. I know your husband going to be the first, but I want to know when that call comes because I believe it will, man.
Thank you, Buster.
Divo, man, you take it easy. Y'all have a great night, and I wish you luck with ODB, man. You know, she is one dirty bitch.
And I'm dirtier.
I think we know that, Divo. She gonna find out. She gonna find out Saturday, man. You take it easy, dude.
Thank you, Buster. You have a great night.
You too. All right, y'all. There it is. Divo Dior this Saturday night. Inhumane Championship Wrestling, Huntington, Tennessee. Go check this out, man. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure they're filming some of it for the Dark Realm. If not all of it, you might even get to see yourself on TV. Go to Roku. Go check out the Dark Realm streaming app, man. A lot of cool stuff on it other than just Inhumane. If you're a horror fan, go check it out. It's right up your alley. Guys, I'll be back next Tuesday night with Shane Diesel, man. He's the Pro Wrestling Mid-South announcer. He's also a historian and a wrestling collector. So we're going to talk to him. Should be a great show. And you know what time it is. It's always 7 o'clock. Until then, y'all take it easy.
When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked. There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Hosted by Buster H.R. Johnson. This is a Buster H.R.